Welcome back to the channel, folks. So today I thought I'd do a video going over a few more tips and tricks I'd wish I'd learned earlier on playing No Man's Sky. Now, some of them you'll be thinking, how on earth did it take you that long to realise that, you bloody idiot? And others you'll be thinking, well, goddamn, I had no idea. So make sure you stick around till the end to make sure you don't miss out on anything important. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get stuck in. Right, first up, let's talk about by far the fastest way to find a paradise planet. Now, you'll have probably seen videos on YouTube from the past where players are talking about looking for yellow star systems with more planets in them, water, and a number ranging from 4 to 6 as part of the description in the galaxy map. Now, this method can work, but it's certainly not the quickest way, so let me tell you how to find them even quicker. Now, you may or may not know that some resources can only be found on lush planets, or indeed paradise planets. Two examples of these are Starbulb and Paraffinium. Now, assuming you've come across these resources at least once before in the past, they should be in your catalogue, and here's a bonus tip. Did you know that you can plot a route to a specific resource from your catalogue? Well, you do now. So, if you were to plot a route to Paraffinium or indeed Starbulb, you're going to be given a marker to the nearest instance of it relative to your current location. It may be in the current system you're in or one nearby, but once you travel to that location, you're absolutely guaranteed to be on a lush planet. Now, that's not a paradise planet, but, there's nothing wrong with lush planets, but if the planet you land on isn't a paradise one, just repeat this process again and you'll get a paradise planet in no time at all. It really is that simple and far quicker than navigating through the galaxy map. So, moving on, let's talk about that terrain manipulator, which you're probably all familiar with. Amongst its functions are excavating the ground, flattening the ground, adding ground back in, and of course, gathering resources. We're interested in the resources for this next tip. So, did you know that you can change the size of the terrain manipulator when gathering these resources? There are 3 sizes available to use, and they are small, medium and large. Now, unless you're in a major rush, I wouldn't recommend using the large size because even though you're going to gather the resource deposit in record time, you're going to have less of that resource to show for it, which isn't exactly what you want. So, what you do want to use is the smallest size because this is going to give you the largest amount of resources from that same deposit. Why the numbers vary differently between the sizes, I don't know, but that's the tip. And do you want to know a bonus terrain manipulator tip? If you're fighting some Sentinels and you find yourself becoming a little bit overwhelmed, if you dig yourself a tunnel into the ground or into the side of a hill, jump on into that tunnel and then switch manipulator mode and block off the entrance, those Sentinels are not going to try and kill you anymore. Voila, you've escaped. Right, moving on, let's talk about Exocraft. Now, obviously I knew about Exocraft early on in the game and that they can be used for getting around quickly, mining resources, storing resources in, and what have you, but it took me a lot longer to realise you can use them for doing a lot more than just that. If you use scanner upgrades for them to find a whole bunch of different things. So, for example, if you install the Esignal Boost on Exocraft, it's going to grant you the ability to scan for resource deposits and depots so you can find various high value resources. You can also install the Esignal Boosted Tau, and you can then scan for ruins and monoliths, and in the case of the monoliths, these can also lead you on to finding portals, and they are used quite a lot in my videos. So finally, if you install the E-Advanced Signal Booster, that's going to allow you to use your Exocraft scanners to search for abandoned buildings and drop pods for free Exo2 expansion slots. Now, the Nautilus on Exocraft has another trick up its sleeve. If you decide to install a high-powered sonar onto it, that's going to grant you the ability to scan for crashed ships, crashed freighters, sunken buildings and submerged ruins. So as you can see, there is more than meets the eye when it comes to your Exocraft. And do you want another bonus tip? You can also use your starship to scan for trade terminals as well, rather than having to find them by using trading routes or just searching for them on a planet. Which does also work, by the way, but scanning them is far, far quicker. Now, you remember early in the video when I mentioned about a tip that would have you be like, how on earth did you not know that? Well, this is it. It took me far too long to realise that your jetpack can also be used as a refiner. Yep, I totally didn't realise that for ages after I'd first started playing No Man's Sky, so when I did find that out, I was mind blown and also wanted to throw my controller out the window. I wasted so much time sat around waiting for my personal refiner to finish refining whatever I'd lobbed in there, whilst I could have just lobbed it into my jetpack and gone about my business as usual whilst it did the job. So, don't make this mistake I did, folks. Use your jetpack as a refiner instead of the small personal refiner one. So, moving on to finding S-Class ships and also Solar ships, which also happen to be some of my favourite kind of ships, Now this tip of course came out after the Outlaw update, which was released last year, but it still took me a long time to realise. Previously, if you wanted to find an S-Class ship of any description, whether that be a solar ship, exotic or even a hauler, you used to have to go to a wealthy 3-star system and wait around the space station or at a trade terminal for a long time for one to appear. But did you know you're more than twice as likely to come across an S-Class ship, or indeed a solar ship for that matter, in Outlaw systems? Yep, the chances of coming across an S-Class ship in even a wealthy system is a measly 2%, but that goes up to 5% if you're in an Outlaw system. Probably because all of those damn pirates are nicking them and adding illegal upgrades to them. So yeah, if you want an S-Class ship of any kind, or a solar ship, head to an Outlaw system and save yourself a lot of time. Right, let's talk about Sentinels briefly once again. I know I gave you a quick tip earlier to get away from the using terrain manipulator, but there is another way to do it if you find yourself getting overwhelmed. If you have a companion big enough so you can ride on it, did you know that if you spawn it whilst you're getting attacked by Sentinels, jump on it, the Sentinels are going to stop attacking you? It took a long time to figure that one out, so if you're getting overwhelmed, just jump on their back and walk away like nothing ever happened. It really is that simple. So, I don't know about you, but one of the main things I wanted to do when I first started playing No Man's Sky was to reach the Galactic Core and then ultimately warp to a new galaxy. But there are two things I wish I knew earlier with this. The first one is how quick it is to actually get to the Galactic Core. Now, when you first start playing the game, your ship's hyperdrive range is pretty much minuscule, and the Galactic Core is just going to be what, 700,000 light years away? Even if you have an upgraded hyperdrive like the one I have now, that's going to take you a damn long time. So, the first tip I wish I knew here was that you can enter the first portal glyph into any portal 12 times, jump in, and then you're a mere 5,000 light years away from the Galactic Core. Now, this actually works with any galaxy in the game as well, so all you need to do is find a portal, and that's pretty damn simple as well. As I mentioned earlier in the video, get yourself a land-based Exocraft, install Esignal Boost to Tau, and scan for monoliths. Once you get yourself to a monolith, you're going to have a couple of options, and one of those will give you a portal location. And then, assuming you have the first portal glyph unlocked, enter it 12 times and voila, 5,000 light years from the Galactic Core. The second thing I wish I knew around the Galactic Core is when you warp into a new galaxy, all of your technology components are going to go bang. This includes the ones in your ship and your multi-tool, so the tip here is get yourself a basic starship as a backup that you don't mind scrapping afterwards, and then warp through the Galactic Core using that ship. And of course, second thing is to do the same thing with a multi-tool, so get a basic one that you won't use, equip that and then warp to the next galaxy. This way you can just switch back to your main ship and multi-tool when you've arrived at the new galaxy and not have to worry about fixing everything up. If you're a player like me and your inventory is constantly full or there or thereabouts and your exosuit is constantly telling you exactly that, then this tip is for you because it's going to give you an extra 25 storage slots. So, you know the nutrient processor? Well, if you get yourself one of those, and you may need the blueprint for it to craft it if you haven't got it already, and then plonk it down on the ground. If you then inspect it, you'll be able to see that you're able to use its storage space for a bunch of resources, but the best part about this is, when you pick up the nutrient processor and go about your business, all of those resources you stuck in there will still be in there when you plonk it back down. So the nutrient processor will take up one inventory slot, but in there will be an extra 25 inventory slots, which is pretty damn useful, right? This one took a damn long time to figure out. Now this one I wish I knew earlier, and you're probably all thinking, well damn, how did it take you so long to figure this one out? But because it took me a while, it might take others a while as well, so I'll include it anyway. As you may or may not know, there are a bunch of super high value resources you can get in No Man's Sky. Now I'm talking about things like stasis devices, fusion igniters, and even other things like the Atlas passes. They're going to grant you access to secret rooms on space stations and operation centers and whatnot on the planet's surface. Now, for a while I had absolutely no idea how to get my hands on the blueprints for these, but it's annoyingly simple to actually do it. So, you know on the anomaly where you can unlock base building parts? Yep. Well, on the other side of that exact room, you can unlock the blueprints for all of these high value and rare items at a cost of some nanites. Yep, it really is that damn simple, so I'm really annoyed that it took me so long to figure out, but there you are. I hope you guys don't get stuck on that as well. And there you have it folks, there are a bunch of No Man's Sky tips and tricks that I wish I knew earlier. I hope you guys learned something new from this video, and if you're still here, it would be totally awesome if you could support my channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. You can now also become a channel member, where I'll be posting coordinates to a whole bunch of super rare and unique items and places to visit amongst other things. You'll also get some unique emojis and badges when leaving a comment, so what's not to love about that, right? And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.